Hello everyone, my name is Mohammed, and today I'm going to show you what we've done here in Gummo Studios for our main menu, the design that we've made, the elements that it has, you can see different tabs and sections here, and mainly I'm going to show you how you can do the changes that you want, make the changes that you want, so you can get the thing out from the project that you want. Okay, so let's begin with the first section, the play tab. First we have the continue new game and chapter select. If there's nothing saved in the, so nothing shows up, and then over here in the chapter select, I'm going to show you where you can select the chapters that you want. But before, you have to set the chapters. So let's go over here to our map. To set the trigger points on your map, you go over here in the survival UI, you go to blueprints and then save, and then you see over here the BP save game trigger. That's our trigger point. And then you have a chapter ID over here, and then this is for instance the first chapter ID, and then just going to simply copy and place another one. So whenever the player gets to the next section, the trigger point happens. So basically the next chapter begins. That's the third chapter, for instance. So yeah, and then when you play the game, you just save and go to play section. These are our trigger points. Whenever you move along and get past these trigger points, the chapters open up. As you can see over there, the first and the second. Depends on how many chapters that you save. Okay, and then so when to show what it shows after when you press the new game or the chapter select, you go over here. The survival UI, the blueprints, and then the UI, and then the WBP play tab, and then you have environment here, the and then you have the target level over here. The level that you click after it comes up from the new game, it shows up over here. Okay, as you can see over here, whenever I hover the mouse around over these buttons, it shows a specific animation. To be able to control the speed of this animation, you again go to the same address, and then you should set the animation forward speed and the backward speed. So that kind of determines the speed of it. To be able to change the camera, you go over here, and then you go to the survival UI section, the blueprint, and then pawn, and then you open the main menu like pawn and then graph. Over here in the right section, you have the locations that you want. You set the location and then the rotations to get the desired angle of your camera. To be able to enhance, heighten, or reduce the speed of the camera, you open a time graph over here. For instance, I want to make this from 0.75. I'm gonna place 1.5, 1.5 seconds. So that means the camera speed is going to be more lengthier, so more slower. The process is going to be a bit slower than the previous one. So vice versa, if you want to increase the speed, you reduce the numbers in the parameter section. So whenever you want to add a tab in the section, there are a couple of things that you can do. There's one thing that you can do. You go over to the blueprint, the UI, and then the WBP main menu, and then in the design section, I add the button that I want. I'm just gonna type in test, just to not get other things confused, and then on the events, I'm gonna click on the on click, and then afterwards, I'm gonna come over here in the survival, the blueprints, and then pawn, and then the BP pawn, I'm going to open it here. And then I'm just going to create a custom event right over here, right down here. Just type in, go to test section. Yep. And then I'm just going to get location. I'm just going to make a new one. Just add it over here. Tests, location. And then again, the test section rotation, and then compile, and then go to this address, the blueprint, enum, and then the E menu section. I'm going to add a enumerator, and then I'm just going to type the one that I've already written, the test section, and then back to main menu pawn. And then copy the function that you want, these two, and then connect them. And then I'm going to press the test section. And then afterwards, you come over here, the target location and the target rotation. Just going to copy it and then connect it to the main one. And set it like this. Actually add it like this, and then the test location section, I'm just gonna connect them to it over here, and then afterwards to the return node, and then back to the main menu. And then I'm going to duplicate one of these ones, and then I'm going to customize it, switch to test section, and then the new button that I've made, I'm just going to drag it over here and then enable it. And just going to make sure this is labeled, and then you adjust it over here, in which this widget gets connected to. We make the widget. Onto blueprint, UI, and user interface, and widget blueprint, user widget, WBP, test. And then I have a canvas panel in the section, the text. Just gonna type in the text section over here. This is a test tab, just to not get things confused. And then the blueprint that we've made, just gonna add this to the widget switcher over here, WBB test. And as you can see, we have 5 widgets over here. And the widget that we've just made is the 6th one. So this means the index for it, for the widget switcher, is the number 5. N minus 1 of the n, when n is equal to the number of widgets that we've just made. So number 5. So the 5th one basically. So the function that we've made in the pawn, we're just gonna get the reference from it. Call, go to basically, what was it? Yeah, test section. Connect them all together, and then the function that I've made, we're gonna add them to the onClicked. And afterwards, let's go back to the map and then see where the camera angle. We're just gonna adjust the camera angle. I'm just gonna, for example, show the ground when I add the tab, make the tab. So on the right side we have the location and rotation, and then when I click the location, come to the main menu, the location which I've made for the section, I'm just gonna copy and paste it over here. And then the rotation, the same scenario can happens. You're gonna do the same thing. Just gonna copy and paste it. And then when I click over here to test, the new tab that I've made, it's gonna show the ground, the same location and rotation that I've added just before in this video. Okay, so the next tab that I want to show you is basically the loadout section. Just gonna create one to show you how it works. Just gonna type in test one. Just ignore my writing. And then over here you have a different set of weapons, rifles, pistols, melees, and grenades. Just a save. And then how to add. I'm going to show you how to add your guns, the guns that you want in the section. You go to blueprints, the loadout table child. Open it up. Go to over here. For instance, I want to add a rifle, so I'm just going to click on this plus, and then just gonna give the mesh that I want for that gun. You can add them here, and then the ID you give it here. How you add an ID is this is how you add an ID. You go to the blueprint section, the enum, the weapons, and then this is where you add your ID. So test one, for instance, and then set it in this loadout table chart section. And then you can both use over here a static mesh or skeletal mesh. If you want to use in the skeletal mesh, make sure you've set your skeletal mesh here. And then definitely make sure this checkbox is false, so it's unchecked. If you want to use static mesh, you have to check this checkbox. Okay, another thing that I want to show you today is how to differently position different items, different weapons on this table. For instance, I want to just move it to another place, all these objects. So we go to Survival UI, Blueprint, Loadout Table, and the Loadout Table Child. And over here, this is the location of the rifle gets placed. The got weapons, basically the melee weapons, the grenades or item 1 or pistol. If you want to see where exactly it gets placed, you go over here in the static mesh. I'm just going to type in, for instance, this weapon. Look over there. This is how I could just simply move it forward and backward. And then for the camera, for us to be able to set the camera with the location, we go to the blueprint, pawn, the main menu pawn, and then over here, as you can see, these are the camera settings. You can see the locations and rotations. So this is where you set those locations and rotations. Same as how you add the tab section. Okay. And then going on to the character tab, this is where you can check your characters and where you customize the clothing for the character. For you to be able to use your own assets, you go to blueprint, and then the character change child, and then over here you expand. I'm gonna add the character that you want. For instance, I'm gonna use this body. If you use groom, make sure you place it over here. You use the groom over here, and then the clothing that you want. This is where you add them, including the colors. This is where you can adjust the clothing and the colors. So just to show you as a demonstration, I'm gonna make the same shirt but in different color. So let's make it green. And then for the pants and shoes, the same thing, same scenario. this is how you add your own assets. Okay, moving on to the next tab, I'm going to show you settings. So it consists of audio, video, graphics, and key binding. They all have different, you can adjust the settings that you want for videos, graphics, whatever. And then for the key binding, on default state, it comes from the input map context that you set. This is where it shows the materials that you've added. So for instance, the input that the Unreal Engine has, it consists of the jump, move, look, sprint. So if I want to add an input, I'm gonna place an action input here, input action, which I've already done before. And then in the input mapping context, I'm gonna add in this section, just type in IA, for instance, test. One of the main things that we have to do here is we have to make sure this checkbox is checked, and then the name that you want to be shown, it should be typed in here. So for instance, the test input, and then obviously the display name. I'm gonna save it, and then for instance the input's gonna be key number 9. Save again, and then when I play, I'm gonna go to key binding. As you can see over here, the test input is the key number 9. If I want it to set the default setting, this is where it should be done. The default. Default. So default for reset. So the key mapping, the key binding, this is where it gets it from. As you see here, when I press reset, it goes back to the default state. And then the audio section, video section, wherever, if you want to add something on one of these volumes, and then you go to the Survivor UI, Blueprint, UI, and then to the WBP audio settings. I'm going to get duplicate and type in the name that I want. Again, menu volume. And then from the events that the Unreal has, the event graph, I'm gonna adjust the custom volume that I want in the event graph section. And one thing before I forget, if you want your character to use either static or skeletal items, like I've said in the loadout table, like I've said you should do the same thing for your character as well. So I'm going to go to Survivor UI, the demo, Unreal character, and then Blueprint. So this is for static mesh, if that's the default state, and if you want to use the skeletal mesh, you just uncheck it over here. Thank you all for listening. I hope it was a comprehensive presentation and demonstration of what you guys can do with this menu. If you have any questions, just let us know by email, comments, or just place as a question in the Unreal Engine Marketplace, and we'll be happy to assist you in any way that is possible.